Hi everyone, welcome to Lives Worth Telling. I'm your host Jodes, and my podcast is about digging deep into people's stories and providing them with a platform to share their life and their experiences with my listeners. One of the key reasons in creating this podcast is so their families and friends can have a record of their life, their stories, and their voice forever. One of my favourite things is hearing about people's stories, their triumphs, their hardships, but most of all I love hearing about their resilience. I really hope you enjoy listening to my guests share their lives with you. I want you to have a few laughs and allow yourself to be immersed in their stories. Well, welcome to episode 2 of Lives Worth Telling. Firstly, thank you for all your amazing feedback on episode 1. And a shout out to all our listeners. And we've actually picked up a few listeners in America, which is exciting. Today, my friend Kimmy is joining me to talk about her life and the challenges that she has faced. But what I love about her is that her ability to stay positive and to always have a laugh. I hope you enjoy. Okay, I'm so excited to be joined by Kimmy today. I will say to you, welcome, Kimmy.
Hi, Jodes. How you going?
Oh, my gosh. I can't believe you said yes.
I can't believe you're doing this. I'm so excited for you. This is the most epic thing ever.
It is epic. It is so epic.
Love it.
So, look, we had a little bit of an issue before we started recording. Kimmy decided to eat one of the cats, has a cat hair in her.
Have a cat hair lodged.
Nothing about 45 litres of water won't fix.
That's right.
So, Kimmy, we'll start off with, so your name is Kim.
Yes.
What's your husband's name?
Brett.
Brett. So we have Kim and Brett. They don't live in Fountain Lakes.
No.
Nowhere near it.
No.
But I don't think they could be any similar to Brett and Kim. Life imitating art, art
Thank
imitating
you, I
life.
think.
So, Kimmy, oh my gosh, I guess, I've known you for a long time.
I'll
probably, dig deep. She said nothing is off the table.
I said I was an open book, actually.
She's an open book. Well, how many chapters?
Well, welcome to part 1.
Okay. Tell me about you. So they're talking about your background in childhood and your early life. So your family, your parents, your siblings. Let's kick off with that.
Let's open that can of worms.
Let's open that can of worms.
So I was born on the 4th of January, 1974. It's a big 50 now, which is exciting.
Yes.
It's all uphill from here, they tell me, which is good. So I was... Do you just want me to launch on into it? Because I guess...
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Kim. I'm adopted.
Yes, Kim is adopted.
Yeah. So I was 5 days old when I was removed from my mother and sent off to a baby's home.
Yes.
7 days old.
Where was the home?
I always get this one wrong. It was... I think now they call it Smith Street or Copeland Street.
Okay.
One of the two. I get confused.
Do you know if it's still in its original form?
I don't.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
A part of me just doesn't care because it's.
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
Yeah.
So, but so I was with my birth mother, Jennifer, for 7 days. And, then I was sent to the baby's home where I was for 4 weeks.
Okay.
And I was adopted, or I was brought home by my mum and dad at 5 weeks of age.
Yeah, 5
on the 5th
weeks.
of February, I think it was. No.
What hospital were you born at?
Royal Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And so what was their family situation when they adopted you?
Yeah. So mum and dad, I guess, as well, they'd been married for 10 years and they'd had some fertility challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So they ended up having my brother, my older brother, in 1969. They got married in 1959. And my brother came along in 69, and
so
he was
10 years.
10 years.
10 years
yeah,
for their first
yeah.
one, yes.
And I've lost my train of thought.
That's okay. It's what I do.
Yeah.
Interrupt people.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. So then
he was already there?
Unwell when he was born, and Mum had such a bit of a time, I guess. She was told that she probably wouldn't have any more children. Okay. So that's when they started this adoption process.
Yeah.
Then, of course, I came along and they got the phone call, hey, we've got a little girl for you. And, hey, presto, Mum said I was the easiest pregnancy she ever had.
Touche, Jan, touche.
Touche, yeah, bless her.
So what was the process for them? Had they waited for a long time or?
Yeah, so, and it's funny because I've got all the documentation and I've read it, but asking me in this moment, I can't kind of put the sequences together.
Yeah.
But so they had to petition, like a judge to be allowed to adopt. They had to go through this process of, like, their friends were interviewed, as far as I know. Like, they had to get letters, like character references,
to prove their credentials.
Yeah, prove their credentials. They had to be in jobs. They had to prove that they were going to be able to look after another child.
Oh, my goodness.
Like an absolute ringer.
And they already had a child.
Yeah, for sure.
They had to prove their worth to adopt.
I guess, I guess that's I don't want to say it sounds worse than what it was because I don't actually know.
Yeah.
I only know what Mum and Dad told me. But, yeah, I think it was kind of grueling when you're hoping that you're going to add another member to your family. It's not like going down to the pet store back in the day and picking out a puppy going, yeah, that one will do. Maybe it was, I don't know. But
well, I think from their perspective, the bravery, I guess, that they've showed in leap of faith.
Yep.
We already have one child, we're getting another child, and that could mean so many different things. Who's that child connected to? Did they know much about your birth mum at the time?
All they knew is that she was from a good Presbyterian home or church-based home.
Okay.
Because where I was adopted through was a church-based, I think, Presbyterian babies' home. I think that's what they were known as when I was there.
Yeah, right.
So it was all through their church sort of thing. So it was a time.
Do you know how their parents felt about the adoption? Like, how was it looked at in the family? Because were many people adopting back then?
Yeah. So I think it was because it was still around that time of I know you've watched it back in the day, that Love Child. Is that what it was called?
Yes.
I could never watch that show because that isn't quite my story.
Yes.
But it was around that same kind of time, 50s to, I think it was 1980, 79, 80, I think.
Where people were sent away to have a baby.
They were sent away, had babies, and then most of the family didn't even know that their family member was pregnant.
Yes.
We'll get onto that later, I suppose.
Yes.
But,
just
I think the family as a whole was very supportive. Mum had lost her mum.
How old?
She was, sorry.
It's all
good. Got a bit emotional.
It's all good, Kimmy. It's all good. Oh, bringing my laughter back. It's okay.
It's been a bit of a day.
Yes, yeah. So she lost her mum. Her mum was 55. She died of cancer. So she wasn't around. I didn't know that.
Didn't you? I thought I told you that. Yeah. So, when you want to talk about these things, I guess your mum's who you want around.
Yes.
But my dad's mum, my nan.
Yeah.
She was a funny old lady. I loved her to bits. She was very supportive.
Oh,
and I know
good.
for a fact that when they got out of the car and from picking me up from the home, my brother was there as well. The three of them got out of the car with me. My nan was standing on their front porch just give her to
Oh,
me,
my
you know.
gosh.
And one of the first photos I have seen of like my very first photo at my childhood home is with my nan and my mum.
Oh. So how old was your brother at that point?
He would have been 5.
Oh, my gosh.
Hang on. No, not quite 5, 4.5.
Does he
Just
remember
over.
much?
Yes, he does. Yep. He
Like the
says
baby's
he
coming home.
Yep.
We're getting in.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
To the point where once I was home, he would pick me up out of the cot and carry me down the hallway to Mum, and Mum would be like, what on earth is going on?
He was so excited to get his little sister.
Yeah, which is nice. So the whole family was excited, from what I can gather.
Oh, my goodness.
Guess I was excited.
Did you know anyone else at the time as growing up that anyone else was adopted?
I did.
Yeah.
There was a girl up the road.
Okay.
And a boy I went to primary school with. He was
wow.
also, so it was, slightly different dynamics. I think the boy at primary school was pretty much the same sort of situation as me, but the girl up the road was actually adopted by her grandmother.
Okay.
So
another family member.
Her
yes.
mum was really her grandma.
Okay.
Her auntie was really her mum.
Yes. Yeah, right.
Sister was really her mum. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not auntie. So
then how did...
And her sister was her auntie.
Oh, my goodness. So they're
weird.
all
Yeah, it's a bit weird. But
connected.
yeah, so, and we were obviously all around the same age. So the girl up the road was about 18 months older than me.
Okay.
And the boy at primary school was
my goodness.
age. We're in the same class.
So they've got Andrew, who's 5.
Yep.
And your name, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
When did they name you straight away?
Yep.
And your name, what you were called when you were first born? Like, what did your birth mum, name you?
Not telling.
She's not telling.
That will be a secret I take to my grave.
Oh, my goodness. It's all right. We'll open that. Make a note.
No. I know that, and there's a reason why I won't tell it. Is because if I ever...
It was Beryl, wasn't it?
It was Beryl,
oh my
yes.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be called Beryl.
Beryl Esme.
Oh, my gosh. Kim, that is your mum and dad then decided to call you Kim. Was that from the beginning?
My dad was a jeweller. He was in the jewellery trade.
Okay.
So I'm actually named after a diamond mine in South Africa.
Are you really?
Yes, I am. Kimberley Diamond Mines. My name isn't Kimberley Diamond.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and then later on, of course, my younger sister came along. Her name is Tiffany.
Yes.
You put Tiffany and the jewellery trade together.
Yes.
Breakfast at.
Gosh. You had a whole jewellery store at home.
Yeah.
So how old were you so how did that happen? So Andrew, adoption.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I want to know how my sister came.
Whoopsie.
No, I think there were some further fertility challenges.
So how old was your mum when she had Tiff?
40.
Okay.
She was 40 years old.
These days. 40
Which is nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back then.
Back then it was, you're a bit old.
Bit of a risk.
It's a risk and, But there was nothing stopping my mum and dad.
Yeah.
Having that surprise packet.
Yes. And there's Andrew going, another sister.
Herself, another sister.
Yes. So, oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So then that was the 5 of us happily ever after,
Yeah.
And I always knew that I was adopted. Obviously Andrew knew, but Tiff has always known. Like, it's never been that big family secret of...
Do you know how old you were when you found out? The moment that you found out or that you were told? Or had you thought that you were?
No. It was never a question.
Okay.
That was never a question because I just always knew. Like, it was always... Tiff was always a surprise package, like later on, like, oh, wow, we never thought this was going to happen, you know.
Yes.
So I was, miracle isn't the right word, but along that vein of, I was chosen for them, they were chosen for me. And that's just how it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, and so it was always kind of spoken about like that, not we took you into our home or anything like that. So we brought you into our loving home and you are our daughter.
Yes.
Not our adopted daughter or our stepdaughter, or you are ours. But I always knew that there was a circumstance around it. I can't remember how old I was, maybe 4 or 5.
Wow.
When I started to understand that.
Yes.
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. But then it just kind of,
well, it was
that's
normal
just how it
for
was.
you.
It was normal, yeah. It's not like I was 21 and suddenly needed a blood transfusion and, Dad, can you help? Oh, no, I can't.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like how some people
I remember
have found out,
Judith Lucy's book called Alphabet.
Yeah.
And she found out she was adopted in her 20s on
really?
Christmas Day. There's a massive argument with the family and it was like the sister or the brother said, well, you're adopted.
Yeah.
And that's when she found out. That was, because they hadn't told her up until that point.
Wow.
Yes. So I guess, oh my gosh, Kimmy, that is, there's so many parts to that, but we'll pick that up a bit later on. the can of worms. Just putting the lid on it now.
Just pop a lid on that.
And moving through school and I guess what life was like for you, thinking about trips and outings as a family. What was family life like for you as a child? Like you enjoyed your childhood, school, teenage years, primary school?
Okay, so a typical weekend for us was Saturdays was always housework.
Yes.
Always had to clean the skirting boards. Man, I used to try and get out of it. I'll do it later. Or dust the shelves. And it wasn't just like I do now. I think I'd do it out of spite now. Just go around things if I do it at all. I had to take everything off the shelf.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it was, that was the thing. Because if we could all do that together and we could get it done,
yes,
then after church on Sunday, there would be an outing. So we'd go, our favourite place, or the favourite place for Dad to take us, especially in summer, was Balnarring Beach.
Oh, yes.
And so we'd get the salad sandwich. Mum and Dad would make the salad sandwiches and we'd all pile into the back of the Kingswood. And off we'd go. And it used to take so long to get there, and then you'd play. And I remember the first time they took me down there, or I don't remember it actually, but they tell me the first time they took me there, I would not go on the sand. Every time they put me on the sand, I would scream blue murder. I don't know why. It just must have been weird or something. I don't know. But that was the thing, like, where are we going today? And we'd go on camping holidays. So remember this one, I think I was about 8 or 9. Went to Wilpena Pound in South Australia.
Yes.
And we were in tents, like full on triangular shaped 2-man tents, Dad and Andrew in one and us girls in the other. And it poured with rain. And we all got so satched, the water came in through the tents or something like that. Anyway, we were satched. So Dad just packed us all up and we went to the Barossa Valley. I think that might have been when My Love of Wine started.
How old were you then?
I reckon I was about 8 or 9.
Oh, my gosh.
But that was such a cool trip. Like,
memorable.
I remember that as being like the first actual camping trip we had.
Yeah.
I think it might have been the last, actually, come to think of it.
Your dad's like, we're not doing that
No,
again.
I think it might have been Mum. If anyone, it would have been Mum. She did like her comforts. And I think that's where I get that from as well. Like, I'm not doing the camping thing, if that's okay with you. If it's got 4 walls and a 5-star rating, I'm there.
Sign me up.
Yeah, exactly. But, do you feel, were you closer to Mum or Dad through childhood and growing up? Did you feel more aligned with one or the other, or they were both not growing
just
up
as amazing? Yeah,
not growing up.
Yeah,
they were just as amazing. And I look back, like now as an adult, understanding the struggles that they went through to have that family that they wanted, and the waiting times, watching best friends announce pregnancies, have babies, have 2, 3 babies before they've even had one. Like, that broke my mother's heart. And my dad had to help sort of pick up those pieces in some not regrets.
In some regards, yeah.
Regards, that's the word I was trying to say, Yeah, so I look on it now and I go, no, I wasn't aligned to one or the other. But I do remember my mum being there all the time. She was always there. Like, she worked from home. It wasn't until we got sort of into sort of high school years, or maybe later of my primary school years, she started actually working in an office.
Okay.
Yeah, but before that, she was always home. We always had my pop, like her dad.
Oh, nice.
Was living with us as well. Oh. So if she did have to go.
He was living with you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when Nana B passed, they sold up their family home and he moved in with Mum and Dad.
Oh, wow. So where did your mum and dad live at the time?
Glen Waverley.
Still Glen Waverley.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they've always lived in Glen Waverley, been there 65
Oh, my goodness.
years. They would have been married 65 years this August.
Goodness. So where did your mum grow up then?
Bentley, East Bentley. Jarman Road, I think it was, something like that. And we actually today we went down to like Ricketts Point, and we actually drove past where my dad used to live as well, which was really cool. The house isn't there anymore, but I do remember as we were little, like, we'd drive past there and we'd go, that's where you used to live,
hard to find
Dad.
The house now. Like, there's so many knockdowns.
Yep, it would have been.
The originals are gone.
Knocked down. There was, I think, the house next door or 2 doors up, that looks to be like an original older house.
Okay.
But everything else, that's in Cheltenham.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Down that way. So
I know some people in Cheltenham. I'm thinking about your youth, Kimmy, and the teenage years, and why is she's laughing already before I even ask this question. So look, the can of that's shut. Hang on, which one? What's open?
Which can of worms do you want to open?
So I guess, did you ever feel not from your mum and dad, but did you ever feel different compared to other kids because they weren't adopted? Did that ever sit with you moving through challenging times as a teenager or anything like that?
Not to other kids.
Yeah. And
this is probably gonna sound really awful, but I felt a little bit like that within the family. Not because people said you don't look like your mum, but we went and had this professional portrait. I think Mum had won this professional portrait. Yes.
People don't tend to do that anymore, do they?
No.
They go get the portrait done, the family portrait.
No, they don't do that anymore.
Yes.
Or if they do, it's with their dog in a meadow. Do you know what I mean? Like, please, wearing a white crisp linen shirt. Like, nobody wears a crisp linen shirt in a meadow. Come on, people. Anyway, I digress. So we had these portraits taken, and I stand out like a sore thumb.
Oh, because you felt like you did?
No, I do. I stand out like a sore thumb, not because of any other reason than my mum and dad have got dark hair, my brother and sister have got dark hair, and I'm a blonde.
Yes,
I was a blonde. I was born with little to no hair, and as it came in, it was white blonde.
Oh, my goodness.
And as I've gotten older, it's gotten a bit darker.
You're physically feeling and looking different to everyone else.
And I often still look at that portrait now and I go,
Kimmy.
And I remember just thinking, I don't look like anybody.
Oh.
And it was nothing that anybody did. Yeah, I know.
You tried to convince me that you and your sister were adopted, and I thought you were just having me on.
No.
And I'm like, you're not.
You're not, because you look exactly the same.
You look the same. Clearly, I can't
And it's actually quite funny because I have, like, one of my best cousins, and people used to think that we were sisters. And, like, people go, oh, you must be sisters, like, to my sister and I. And we just laugh, like we did to you. We just laugh because it can't happen.
Yes.
Can't happen. And even when my daughter was born, you know, people would look at my daughter and go to my mum, oh, she looks just like you. And Mum and I just look at each other and burst
what can you say?
Like, oh, my God.
They don't know.
It's genetics, mate. Can't happen.
Yes.
But they, like you say, they don't know, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I always felt that I didn't have somebody to look like because my brother looks like my dad but also looks like my mum. My sister is a spitting image of my mum.
So you didn't have that?
I didn't have that identity of, oh, you and your mum look alike.
Yeah.
Until Jode came along and suddenly I had an identity.
Yes.
No, only kidding.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and as I can't stress enough, it was never anything that mum or dad or my brother or sister ever said.
Yeah.
It was just something that I felt. But I never felt it more than when we had that portrait done and it got hung on the wall. Yeah, it was just one of those things. I just wanted to look like somebody.
Yeah, I think that's as much as it's, I guess, for some people taking it for granted that they look like their family or, you know. Yeah, I think it's an important thing to have that sense of belonging, knowing that you look like everyone else.
Yeah. There's knowing you belong, but there's knowing you belong. So I'm not quite sure how to explain what I just said, but yes, I belong to them. They are my mum and dad. Andrew and Tiffany are my brother and sister. I'll never ever say anything different. But then there's knowing you belong genetically.
Yes.
Physically. And I didn't have that growing up.
Yes.
So, and it didn't take anything away from my childhood or my experience, but in my head, it was always there. So, yeah.
And I guess we will touch on a little bit later about how you came about wanting to find out who you genetically belonged to, Kimmy.
That's part 2.
Part 2. Oh. Can of worms. I'm thinking about, I guess, relationships and moving into your life as an adult. Your current Brett. How did you and Brett meet?
We met at the pub on a Friday night.
At the pub on a Friday
night. My mother always told me to be very careful of boys you meet at the pub on a Friday night.
Oh, he's a loose cannon, that Brett.
He's a loose cannon. Loose.
Gosh. So did you, when you met him, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think, what year did you meet him?
That would have been 1993, end of 1993. Goodness. I think it was in November. It was the Geebung Polo Club.
The Geebung Polo, still open?
It's still there, but it's not known as the Geebung. I think it's the Auburn Hotel.
Oh, okay. It's not an Aldi or something. No.
Oh, God, I don't know. I don't think so. Gee, it'd be a
and is it one of those things, Kimmy, Melbourne, where you have to kiss a lot of frogs before you get to the prince? Were there a lot of frogs?
There were toads. There was one particular toad. We won't mention his name. He was the toad that I went out with at 12 and a half months. 12 and a half months I'll never get back. Just to piss my mother off.
Oh, that bit of a stage.
Yeah. Just because, why not? Turned 18, I could do whatever on earth I want. Yeah, beat. Oh, I nearly dropped it. I stopped.
I picked it up. I've got it over here.
There's the E.
Well, there it is. It's on set.
Yeah, but that was very much a rebellious phase. Not that I didn't have them. I think my rebellious phase lasted from about 14 and a half. How old am I now? What did we say? I've just
25.
Yeah.
Plus 25.
Yeah. I always shocked my mum. She always said, you just shock me every day.
Oh, my gosh. You'll be the death of me.
You'll be the death of me. No, I wasn't. But
no, that's true. So when you met Brett, I guess how long were you together before you thought this is for real? Or are
Two
you
and a
still
half
are you
hours?
still a little unsure?
2.5 hours.
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
Yep. I walked out of that pub drunk as a skunk going, that is the man I'm going to marry. I actually did. And you can fact check that. I'll give you the source.
Let's fact check that.
Yeah. Cynthia. Deborah.
Yes. Yes. 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
What on earth did he do to impress you?
He bought me a beer, Jodie.
Oh, that was...
That's all it takes.
Easily impressed.
Remember the Barossa Valley?
Oh, it's all coming out now.
It's all coming out now.
Oh, my gosh, he bought you a beer.
She's fast and loose.
And did he drink at the time?
No, he did not.
Yes.
So if you ever want to, ladies, if you ever want to know how to drive a man to drink, come see me, because it takes 30 years of going out with somebody and a pandemic and it'll
crumbled.
start. No. He didn't drink. So
Yes. I'm thinking of the Castle quote. Now that man has principles.
He does. Do you know what? And he actually does. And he was such the polar opposite to the toad.
Yes.
That he was like my knight in shining armour.
Yeah.
He just swept me off my feet. I was going to marry this guy and I made it happen, and that poor man. Poor
and
dad.
he's lived to
as
tell
Hayley
the
would
tale.
say. Poor dad. He has, and he's such a good man.
Mm.
He's such, it's like Adsy,
Yeah.
And I actually say this about other husbands and what have you. I think, we really hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
We really did, because you hear of things going awry, things going astray, and awful things happening and marriages breaking down. And the one thing that I can show to my children is that whilst we're not perfect,
Yes.
whilst we fight, we piss each other off. You know what I'm going to say? We fuck each other off, right? Absolutely, 100%, probably every day of the week. But I love that man to bits. And I told him on the day he asked me to marry him, you'll never get rid of me. I'll never divorce you. So you're stuck with me forever.
Stick to your guns, Kimmy. That's what I reckon.
Yep, absolutely.
Good on you.
Absolutely. So I think he's come round to my way of thinking, oh, honey, I love you. I really do. Please don't listen.
I'll never
to
divorce
this.
you. That's so funny.
I'm
That
going to
is so
take
funny.
the podcast app off his phone. You can't listen then.
It's all right. I'll have him on. He's coming up next.
Oh, good. Beautiful. Oh, that's why he was
Fact
so...
check.
The fact checking. He wasn't there. You can't fact check
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, no, he's a catch.
I guess when you met him and, you decided to get married, how did the engagement announcement or anything happen? She's laughing. I've got a memory blank, so fill me in.
No, you haven't. You know exactly.
I'm trying to remember.
It
so
was...
when did you told your mum and dad?
No.
Like, how did it happen?
No. I remember having a conversation with you the day before it happened.
That's good. So I've got dementia. Okay, refresh my memory.
He's going to kill me. Basically,
No, you're never going to divorce him. So it's
No,
all right. No,
but
he could divorce you.
I'm not going to. He asked me after he won a cricket grand final.
Okay,
He was the captain of said cricket
I do remember.
team, and I had said to you the day before, I think he's going to ask me if they win tomorrow, and I'm not going to say yes because I don't want to be asked that way. You don't remember that?
Oh my
I don't think I've even told him that.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think I've told him that. No, I'm definitely taking the podcast app off his phone.
So we can edit. There's always editing.
Oh, yeah, that's true. No, I don't care. He won't care. I hope he won't care. But he did. Like, they won this grand final, and he was, as I say, he was captain of the team, and he was so excited, so happy.
Oh.
And in his, speech in the club rooms with, he basically just said, thank you to so-and-so, so-and-so, and last I want to thank my beautiful girlfriend, Kim, and I just want to know if she'll be my wife. Well, that was it. He was under a pile of cricket
Oh my goodness.
guys because they all just rushed him and jumped on top of him, and all these little, because it was a Sri Lankan club,
Yes.
all these little old Sri Lankan ladies are up, oh, congratulations. And it wasn't until I think the oldest wife at the club actually said to me, I don't recall you saying yes.
Oh.
And I'm like, no, I haven't said yes yet. And she's like, well, and she took me by the hand. She took me and over to Brett. She hasn't said yes yet or something like that. I can't quite remember how that bit happened, but I said yes, obviously.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, the rest, as they say.
And what year was that?
That would have been 97.
97.
Yeah. So we actually got together in 94. Yeah. And
Engaged in 97.
Yeah, so it was 30 years this year. We'll be 25 years married.
Yes. And what's the significant thing about your wedding date? It's the same day as something else.
Do you want me to cry?
Not at all. That's not what we're here for, Kimmy.
I've got the tissues.
She's got
we actually got married on my mum and dad's 40th wedding anniversary.
Yeah. That's so cool. It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
And it's so significant in so many ways. A piece of history.
Yep.
For all of you. Even though, it can bring some sad times, but I think all the happy times, I think when you celebrate, they celebrate.
Yep. Yep. We
double the love.
So we had obviously our wedding and we actually had a cake and flowers presented to mum and dad at the wedding reception.
Yes.
So it wasn't just our day. We wanted everybody to know that it was their day as well. And I knew that date was going to be an omen for us.
Okay.
Because mum and dad had gone through so much and they had lasted.
Yeah.
And I sort of look at their marriage and I go, yeah, that's what I wanted, like that togetherness.
Yes.
And again, as much as I know mum and dad had their differences, I certainly remember arguments between them, like nothing, just like normal. No, you can't have Tim Tams. I don't know, or I don't know, that's a stupid.
But nothing
one,
major.
But nothing, no physicality or anything like that.
It
was what I guess I'm trying to say. But I knew, as soon as I looked it up and I went, because I promised Brett at least 18 months. 18 months from when he asked me it was the 22nd of February, actually.
Okay.
He asked me, just if you wonder if I know.
22nd of Feb.
Do you know? He does actually. He does know. He does know. 18 months was around the August of 99, and I'm like, okay. No, hang on, it must have been 98. It would have been 98. We got engaged. Whoops, I don't know.
It's all right. It's been a big day.
It has been a big day. I keep saying that.
It's all good.
Yeah, so I said 18 months. So when I looked it up, it was so close to mum and dad's wedding day and it was a Sunday. And I'm like, well, that's just perfect.
Yes.
So that was it, 15th. I asked mum and dad first. I'm like, would it be okay if? And if it was a problem, they didn't tell me.
Yeah. So then when I guess you and Brett got married and then not long after, there was another person that entered the scene.
There was my beautiful girl, my Hayley.
Yes.
Miss Hayley Nicole.
So she was born in year 2000.
She was.
And how long had you and Brett been married?
9 months.
It was 9 months, says Kimmy.
I'll do the maths.
Do the maths. Hayley, listen to that. 9
she
months.
knows.
She knows.
I think she knows.
Probably chooses to ignore it. Probably.
Yeah, she was.
I'm just thinking about.
I'd just like to say I was not pregnant on my wedding day. All right?
She wasn't. I was there. She was pregnant at my wedding.
I was very pregnant at your wedding,
which was also in the year 2000. I guess what's some of the things that quirks or personality traits that Brett has that you really love?
He's the most patient man in the world.
Patience of a saint.
Patience of a freaking saint.
Yes.
He is. I don't know how to really describe him because he's actually gotten a little less patient as he's gotten older, which is very confronting
Happens
for me.
To the best of us.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's a bit confronting for me because that's not who I knew. Like he was just the go with the flow.
Who's this guy? Hang on.
Yeah.
You're patient all the time.
Yeah, I know. And now he gives me shit back and I'm like,
hold the
how
fort.
are you? Excuse me.
He's up to pussy's bow.
Yes, he is. He's up to pussy's bow.
It could be.
And I go, Brett.
I've seen it.
I say, Pet,
my own eyes.
That's something else, isn't it?
That is really, really good. What do you think he would say that his favourite thing about you would be?
Oh
my gosh.
I don't actually know.
I do need to talk to him.
There's so many things.
Yes.
That he could choose.
Yes. A book, encyclopedia.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Let's choose volume 5.
I know what he wouldn't like is that every time I lose a pet, I have to get another one. It's like I just want a nice garden. Maverick.
I guess he is very understanding in that way.
He is the most understanding, most gentle, most patient, most loving, most awesome man. I think I'm gushing about him too much, but I can't help it.
Gosh,
I can't help it.
You can't. I think because I think of everything that you've been through, Kimmy, and that feeling of stability with him.
Yeah.
And then thinking about, I guess, early on in your life and adoption and moving through those times and having all of those feelings when you've come into your 20s and started to have those thoughts around, I would like to know who my genetic people are. When did you start that process? So
the process came, first of all, I wanted to start it when I was about 19, 20.
Okay.
But not for a nice reason. Because I didn't know, I guess I sort of was at a stage in my life of I want to show her what she gave me, but I didn't think of it in terms that I did now. So back then I would think of it as you gave me up, this is what you've missed out on, and they've got everything good about me.
So your intent.
And now I want to throw that in your face.
Your intent.
I want to know who you are. I want to invite you into my 21st so I can bring you down.
Okay.
I didn't do that.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Yes.
Like that would have been the most stupid.
But that's where you were at.
But that's where I was at.
Yeah.
And of course, as we'll talk about later, it was never going to happen.
Yes.
It was never going to happen. So once Hayley had come along, having a little girl, I started to think that I needed to know medical type information.
Yes.
Genetic medical, because we were starting to get into, more about your breast cancers, your reproductive cancers, how they were genetic or could be genetically based and linked. So I'm starting to think, well, hang on a minute. Now I've got this little girl. I need to start thinking about that. And it wasn't until I found out I was pregnant with Jack, my son, that I went to the obstetrician. I couldn't think what they were called, doctor, whatever. And he was asking me those questions, your first visit, and what's your birth history? And I'm like, well, my mother's got diabetes, but she's not really my mother. And he sort of looked at me. I went, oh, well, I'm adopted. And he berated me for being irresponsible.
Dead set.
And not knowing my medical history. I should know my medical history, especially if I was going to be bringing children into the world. And I just thought, you asshole.
Yeah.
Excuse my language, but
wow.
I didn't say it to him. I wanted to.
Heavens.
I thought, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
thank you, sir.
But it got me thinking.
Wow.
I'd already started this.
So this is when you were pregnant
process.
with Jack?
This is when I was pregnant with Jack. So this is my first OBGYN appointment.
Yes.
With him. Obviously, the one for Hayley, he couldn't have given a shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I don't know what.
What a way to set up a good patient-doctor relationship.
I know, right?
Give you a bit of what for as to why.
Exactly. Like,
it's not a simple thing.
No, exactly. Like, you don't actually know my family circumstances. Like,
And you have to be ready
you do.
to explore that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't until I think Jack might have been about 4 that, and I was talking to my mother-in-law, who is also salt of the earth woman.
Love that.
She's beautiful. She does genealogy, or did. She and we were just talking about how, like, her family tree and how everything kind of linked up, and this one here and that one there, and I just happened to say to her, what would happen if like with my family tree, being that I'm adopted. And she said, well, your family tree just looks exactly how it does now. Like, you've just got that one branch with your mum and dad. I'm like, oh, okay. She said, but I can get you some information if that's something that you want to.
Okay.
And she just happened to give me the information for the exact baby's home. She didn't know.
Oh, my goodness.
The exact baby's home. She said, this might be a place to start.
Oh, my. What year was
Uniting
this?
Care. It was. So that would have been, I think that was about 2009.
Okay.
I think. Timeline's a bit fuzzy.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so open that can of worms again, will you, Joe?
Hang on.
Because it's coming.
It's a bit tight. Has anyone got one of those things from the drawer? Yeah.
Yeah, so I rang them and they sent me out all the paperwork. This came in, those big yellow envelopes,
Yes.
and I'm thinking,
So official.
shit, what have I done?
Backpedal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And of course, back then you didn't just put your credit card details on a form and send it on in or what have you. You needed a check.
Yeah.
And the only people I knew with a checkbook were my parents.
Yes.
So, and it's not that I'd sort of spoken to them about it anyway, but it wasn't really until that moment that I really had to sit down with them and say, if you don't want me to do this, I will not do it.
Yes.
Because you are my mum and dad. You will always be my mum and dad. Nothing will ever change that. But I want to find out this information. But if you don't want me to do it, I won't do it.
Yeah.
Mum was a bit, and Dad's like, you have to do what you have to do. And I explained it exactly like I said. I've now got a daughter. I've now got a son. I need to kind of know in a way. And I just wanted medical information.
Yeah.
So they wrote the check and I sent it all in. And then I got a phone call the day after. It was actually the 5th of January, would have been 2010.
My goodness.
So I'd sent the paperwork in September, because when I actually rang them and he said, oh, that's us. You were actually adopted through us. We've had several name changes since then. He goes, your records will be easy to find, but I can't tell you anything, obviously, until you fill in the paperwork. I'll send it to you, blah, blah, blah. So I get this phone call the day after my birthday, and we've got your records. We found your information. We know who your birth family is.
Oh, my goodness.
But we can't just give you that information. You actually have to come in for an interview. So this is a caseworker that's called me, and she's like, I'm actually going on holidays for 5 weeks at the end of this week. Any chance you can come in on Friday?
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, went in.
Did you go by yourself?
No, I took Brett with me. There was no way known I was going by myself. And I'm so glad I didn't, because what I found out was
big stuff.
Huge.
Yeah.
So
and there's no going back.
There's no going back.
Yeah.
No going back whatsoever. And it was funny because they lay out all of these documents. There was a huge file, and I've got them all at home. And every now and then I get them out and I'll look at them and just go, wow, this is crazy. I was given I was shown a book from when I was in the baby's home.
Oh, my goodness.
So my birth mother had given me a name, which I'm not going to tell you.
Yes.
which Jodie actually knows what my birth name was. They had dropped off my first name.
Okay.
And just called me by my middle name.
Okay.
Which was Nicole. I'll give you that much.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah. So I guess they did that. My reasoning, and I don't know if this is true, is that if my birth mother had come looking for me, I'm looking for so-and-so, we don't have a baby of that name here.
Yes.
Which they didn't, you know. They showed me my first birth certificate with that name on it, and that's obviously how I found out my first ever name.
Yes.
And that was surreal to look at a piece of paper with a completely different name on it that is yours.
Than who you are.
Yeah.
At the time.
It's crazy. And then they showed me a piece of paper that had there was a letter from a woman who called herself an aunt. She had written to the adoption people because they wanted. She couldn't let go that there was a little girl out there that would never know that her birth mother had passed away.
Yeah. Okay.
And she wanted that to go into my record. That
because that's it, Kimmy. Like when you start that process, you don't know what that outcome looks like.
Exactly.
It could be a kindred spirit. It could be someone that isn't around anymore, or stepping forward and taking that brave step. And we don't know what the outcome's going to be here. It could be one of many.
Yeah.
And I think for you finding that out is a little bit bittersweet.
Yeah.
But it opened a whole other door to,
it has.
I guess, life that it is now. But it definitely it just sticks a little bit.
It does. And even just saying that then, like, I got that punch in the gut of, and Brett said he actually watched me in that moment because he understood what was being read out to me. And he said, I'm just there going, yeah, okay, yeah. And then he watched me actually realise what the words on what the words on that page are. And that's exactly what, hang on, what?
Just go back a bit, huh?
Oh, excuse me. And I just burst into tears. And I just thought, what
now?
Am I doing? What was the point?
Yes.
What was the point?
Yes. And you're thinking that at that point, well, now what?
Now what? I'm never going to get the answers.
How old was she when she passed away?
She was 23.
Yeah.
She died on the 23rd of June, 1980.
Oh, my goodness.
She was 23, 6 months married, I think. Maybe a bit longer. Again, I need to fact check. I probably should have known all of this.
That's all good.
I think it all just that whole time just kind of blurs, and it's not until I actually go back and read it. But I tell you what, going to births, deaths and marriages and asking for your mother's death certificate, that was kind of him saying that, well, you can get the marriage certificate as well.
Yes.
But then I knew that I was kind of barking up the wrong tree when trying to get the information, but I wasn't, if you know what I mean. So, but yeah, so that was quite surreal. Quite surreal.
I think too that, like I said, you're not expecting that. Like, looking at the time frames and ages of what age she would have been. It was, how is that even going to be an outcome if she was going to be in her 80s or 90s when you started searching?
Yeah.
Oh, she's still going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Highly unlikely that she's not going to be around.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So then after that, I was given the number of this aunt.
Yes.
And it makes me smile when I think about it because it's about conspiracy theories. But and I got in contact with her, and that first meeting was amazing. But it was a little while later until I actually met the rest of the family. There was always an excuse as to why she couldn't get in touch or talk to them, or why she didn't want to just give me their details. So one Mother's Day, I I think it might have been it was the first anniversary of her passing.
Okay.
I went to the cemetery.
Oh, yes.
And I had actually made before I left. I thought, you know what? This has to get done. I need these questions answered, and I don't feel I'm getting the right answers from my aunt.
Yes.
So I wrote a little card and I laminated it or something. I can't remember what I did. It might have been, those A4 pockets. I might have cut one of those to size and just sealed it all up. Said who I was. It was just like a letter to Jen, and I just slid it under the headstone. And it was that next Father's Day, so the September, my grandmother, my aunt, and my cousin had gone to visit my grandfather's gravesite, and they wandered over to Jen to say hi, as you do. And my cousin bent down to pick up, this little note that I'd left, and it's like, oh, what the hell, what's this? And my aunt took it from her, and she apparently had just had this look on her face and showed it to my grandmother, and she's just like, oh, my God, it's her. Because I signed it the name that Jen gave me.
And they had no idea.
They had no idea where I was.
Point. Yes.
They had no idea where I was. And I was, so that was on the Sunday. On the Monday night, I was playing tennis locally. And so between sets, I've got this voicemail, and I'm like,
oh, my gosh.
What?
How bizarre.
And it was my uncle. And they were ropeable that she'd been on the scene for so long and they didn't know. And he actually, and this is getting back to what I'd said before about, some family members not even knowing that their other family members had gone away to have a baby. He had no idea. So he was 9, nearly 10, and he said to me, I didn't even know she was pregnant. I didn't even know I had a niece.
Oh, my gosh. So that's her brother. Your mum's brother?
Yeah, her younger brother.
He never knew she had a baby.
Everybody else knew.
Oh, my goodness. He was just a kid at the time.
He just, he remembered. I think he said he remembered going to visit her in Melbourne.
Okay.
But he didn't really understand why.
No.
Yeah, so, and he said, I thought she'd just gotten fat.
Just had a baby. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. We're just having a baby. Well, she was about to have a baby. So,
and that was quite a few years ago now. When you
well, that was 2012. Yeah, 2012. Yeah.
And you're still in contact with them today?
I am.
Yes.
I am.
How wonderful.
Look, I must say, since the pandemic, since the last 12 months, I'm not as much in contact with them as I probably should be.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother is, or Nan, she's aging. She's in her 90s.
Mm-hmm. That's your mum's mum?
Yeah.
Beth Mum's mum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got them all on Facebook.
Yes.
Which obviously isn't the same, but it's can catch up. I get invited to Christmas. And,
that's so nice.
And I get along with my aunts and uncles really well, and my cousins are the coolest. And I've got, they've got kids of their own now, which is really nice. So
did your mum and dad ever meet anyone from your birth mum's family?
Yeah.
They have?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So not long after I met them, and that was a surreal meeting, because I'll just step back a little bit first. So I think that was the Monday. I think by the Wednesday we'd organised to meet.
Oh, my goodness.
And my uncle, who didn't know I existed.
Yes.
That Tuesday night, I think I'd gotten – so I got the call on the Monday night from the voicemail. Then I think I got another call that night. And then the next night, the next uncle called, and it was just, wow, these people. And then, yes, I think it was a couple of days or something, we'd arranged to meet, and the kids and I sat in this coffee shop in Berwick, and I could see her coming because I'd been given a photo
Okay.
of them. So I knew what they looked like.
Okay.
And I guess they'd probably seen a photo of me.
Yeah.
But my nan walked through the door and she locked eyes with me and she just stopped dead and just stared. And the first thing she said to me is, "You look just like her."
Oh.
That's all I wanted.
Yes.
That's all I ever wanted.
Yes.
And that was in that moment, everything was validated. I'd seen photos and everything.
You looked like someone.
I looked like someone. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there was once I finally met sort of the last side of the family, the last part of the family, they gave me a photo. They'd blown up a photo of Jen on her horse because they lived in Warragul.
Yes.
Just the other side of Warragul. So horse ride, they were on a farm, so horses and, all that sort of stuff. And now I know where I get that from because they couldn't, Mum and Dad and my sister especially, quite ironically, could never understand why it was that I liked to ride these filthy, disgusting, smelly beasts, you know. Well, now she's got 5 of them or something. It's like now you understand it, right?
She got on board.
But now I know where I get that from. And it's really weird.
So random.
So random. But I showed this photo to my dad the day after my uncle gave it to me. The day they gave it to me, I burst in tears. I was like, wow, that looks
Mind-blowing.
like me.
Yes, it does. It does.
But I showed it to my dad the next day and he goes, "Oh, I don't remember you having that horse. Which horse was that?"
Oh my
and I'm
gosh.
like, "What are you talking about, Dad?" He goes, "Well, I don't remember you having that horse." I'm like, "Dad, that's not me. That's Jen." And he was just like, whoa.
Yeah, that genetic link.
Yeah.
I still picture the photos of your mum. I can still see the pictures that you showed me.
Yeah.
And just the resemblance.
Yep.
It's just.
Yep. And I look at that now too because my aunt, like Jen's older sister, was like the first Christmas we'd met or something, I think it was, she'd made me this beautiful framed 3 pictures. You've seen them on the wall. There's one of Jen, there's one of me. And then I think there's another one of Jen.
Okay.
I think it's 3 of them. 2 of Jen and 1 of me, I think. Oh my God. I should know this. But I look at that and I go, yep. But then I put Hayley's photo up against Jen and I go, she looks more like Jen than I do.
The trio.
And it's just to see that come down the line, like
so then
that blows my mind.
Go, I look like you, but then I also look like her. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives Jack and Hayley a genetic link as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's just as much them as well as you.
Yeah.
More so
That's
you.
exactly right.
Yes. I'm going to pivot now, Kim. I think when you think about all of the things and listening to it, I guess from a different perspective, I've known a lot of those details, but all the things that you've faced through those times, and it hasn't been easy, and also that leap of faith and that outcome, none of us wanted that for you, and I think, but at the same time, it did give you a portion of what you wanted and connection with genetic family members. So I want to talk about work and profession. When we're moving through school and looking at what your mum and dad did for a job, and what was one of the things that you really wanted to do, you really wanted to follow? What's one of the things that you wanted to be?
What I really wanted to be was a vet nurse.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to be. And, you go to your careers counsellor at school. Fuck the careers counsellor at school. Our careers counsellor, bless her cotton socks, can't even remember her name, told me that no, that was a silly profession. I was never going to get into it. I should just go and be a secretary and work in an office.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry. My parents are working 3 jobs to send me to your damn fine school. And this is what they're going to get out of it for me?
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with a desk job. I'm not saying that, but I thought their whole thing, I think they thought their whole thing would be that this school would teach me to follow my dreams.
Yes, that's right. This is what you want to do.
Overcome
Here's your
obstacles.
path.
Right. This is what you want to do. So this is how we're going to help you get there. So
it's great advice.
it is great advice. Secretaries are needed.
Yes, that's not what you wanted to do.
So I ended up, when I left school, did year 12 begrudgingly. But I did it because Mum and Dad really wanted me to.
Yes.
You know, we had fun, didn't we?
Yes.
I think
we did.
I think we did.
We did.
I ended up on the dole in that first year out. And Kimmy's coming out.
Oh, my gosh. We are in Fountain Lakes.
And that just didn't sit with me.
Mm.
And I think because the toad was around then,
okay.
I could see, and no. So I went off and I got myself a job in retail, customer service, and it was in a pet shop.
Yes.
So it kind of ended up being similar, you know. But from there, I think I was probably there about 5 years or something. When did we finish school?
Mm.
No, it wouldn't have even been 5 years.
Mm.
Yeah, no, it was about 5 years because I started vet nursing in 96. So I just sent out resumes to vet clinics all over this side of town. Got so many knockbacks.
Oh.
And then I just got that one phone call. Come on in for an interview.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking beautiful. Got offered a trial day, and at the end of the trial day got offered a job, and that was a 22 and a half year career.
Yes.
A little break in the middle there, but I was at my first clinic for 14 and a half years.
Oh my goodness.
Babies were born not at the clinic, but while I was working at the clinic. And yeah, but it got to the point where I just needed to be a mum.
Yes.
Of course, I had the babies and straight back to work almost. And so it was supposed to be a 12-month hiatus.
Okay.
Brett and I talked about it, and it's fine, we can do that. I think it ended up being almost 3 years, and by the end of it, I'm just like, I can't do this anymore.
Mm.
I need something more. So just happened to get online, and lo and behold, there's a vet nurse job going.
Yes.
Put in my resume, got a call up. Didn't get that particular job. Actually, no, it wasn't for a vet nurse. It was for a receptionist at the clinic. Didn't get that job. Somebody else got it. But then they called me back on April 1st that same year. We're looking for a senior vet nurse. Can you come in so we can have another chat? And, of course, it's April 1st. I'm thinking, is this some kind of April Fool's joke? Like, left that interview.
Oh, my goodness.
With a senior nursing role in a brand new clinic. I think I was there that was 2014. And then 2017 I finished up there and
oh, my goodness,
went on to Vic Roads.
Yeah. Quite a change.
Look, same kind of animal, really.
Nothing cute and fluffy in there. Just a lot of...
Not sure which one bites harder. But
oh, my goodness.
But each day, even in my current role, but definitely in the nursing role, each day was different.
Yes.
New challenges. And that's, I think, what I like. Like, that's what I want out of a job. I want to be challenged. I just want to be typing or entering in the same data day in, day out. Like, yeah.
You want more from your day.
Yeah, of course. For sure.
I think, I think I love that you, well, geez, I'm a little bit disappointed at our school that you say you want to be a vet nurse and they say, no. Isn't that wouldn't happen these days. They'd say, okay, this is what you need to do to achieve that goal. Surely they don't go, don't do that, do this.
I mean, I think had I walked in there and said I want to be a rocket scientist, that would have been an okay response. Like, it's just, I think maybe you're aiming a little bit high there, Kim, you know?
That's right.
Like, I get it.
That's the quote from the movie Cocktail when he's looking for a job and he says, I'm willing to start at the bottom. And they said, we think you're aiming too high. I want to talk about now your passions and your interests. So I guess, we've resonated in a lot of music and dancing and bands and concerts. Yeah. Where are you sitting with your concerts and music, what you love to sing?
I've always loved to sing.
Yes.
I did music A at school, which was performance.
Yes.
In classic, which turned out to be a bit opera-ish in a way. And I would have liked to have gone on to do something like that, but circumstances just And I think I've always loved to sing. I remember as a little girl, like, washing the dishes of an evening after dinner, making up my own little tunes, and I swear, Taylor Swift has stolen some of my songs because they sound really familiar to me.
I think I'll have a chat to her actually.
Something about haters and
Miriam said something about you didn't really like Taylor Swift in the other.
Oh, there's a bit of a theme.
Sorry,
it's not that I don't like her. I just think she's plagiarised some of my work.
She just stole your work. That's completely warranted, really.
But no, I've always loved to sing.
Yes. So first concert,
Alanis Morissette with Brett.
Goodness,
yeah, was really disappointed.
Isn't it ironic?
It was ironic. Yes, a little too ironic, don't you think? We could do this all night.
We could go back and forth.
Just so disappointing. Like she played for, I think it was just over an hour.
Oh.
And then she walked off stage and never came back. And
my
we're
goodness.
just like, really?
Oh, that's not. What year was that?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, my gosh.
Had to be after 94, didn't it?
That's the.
Because I was with Brett.
TV shows, current, past.
Current, past. Okay.
If you say maths, no, it's all right.
I do watch maths, but just for the shit show that it is. I tell you what. All right. So early childhood shows. I loved A Romper Room.
Yes. Miss Helena.
Miss Helena. We were only talking about her. I think we were talking about her at work or something, or somewhere I was talking with somebody about Miss Helena.
It was a better time.
It was, yes. Fat Cat Humphrey.
Yes. Yes.
No. No, I did watch all them. So those early shows that I guess our age group they were what we grew up on as our early childhood. And then I remember I would have been maybe 6 years old, and my grandmother on school holidays, maybe 7, introducing me to Days of Our Lives and Young and the Restless.
What a woman.
What a woman.
Oh.
Now, for those of you at home who haven't seen an episode of Days of Our Lives or Young and the Restless in a good 40 years, don't worry, you haven't missed out on anything. Victor and Nikki are still around.
I know. It's and our good friend of ours that she used to tape on VHS, this tower of tapes of Days of Our Lives. I've got to catch up. And she'd take annual leave and just watch back to back.
Yeah, I know.
I loved it as a teenager.
Yeah, absolutly.
So good.
And then you move on to your Bold and your Beautiful. And, that was the lunchtime viewing. You had to come home for lunch. It was funny. But I have been known to tape Young and the Restless every day and watch it when I get home from work, and was really disappointed this evening when I realised it had moved to 10 play and it doesn't get recorded anymore. That was a shock.
So Young and the Restless is still going as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they're in the 51st
They're mainstays.
year.
Yeah, jeez.
It's older than me, mate.
Long time.
It's your age.
Long time. I've got a few other things to ask you. Life's turning points for you, a significant turning point or moment of realisation in your life? Can you pick anything where things changed?
I can think of 4.
Okay.
How do I categorise them? How do I put them in order?
Positive?
No. I think, yes, they were positive in that they've brought me closer to certain people.
Mm-hmm.
They've taught me that the most significant was Mum's passing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that, and I'm going to say it again, so you're going to have to put that R rating on there now. That fucked me up.
I don't have a beep button here.
Bugger. Sorry, I won't say it then.
Whoopsie.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Oh, whoops, it's come out.
I can put one in later.
Put one in later. Yeah, you'll be right. I won't
so
say
that's
it
been
again.
12 months.
12 months today, actually.
Today.
Yep.
Good on you, Jody. Good on you for choosing today.
It's all good, mate.
Nothing like timing.
It's all good. We that's why we went down to Ricketts Point. That was one of Mum's favourite spots. My dad, my sister and I, we went down for lunch and it was nice.
So in terms of that.
So in terms of that, I think that taught me true heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't know, I'll rephrase what I was about to say because I know you do know.
Mm-hmm.
People will never understand true heartbreak until they lose a parent. But that has made me look at what was going on, what I was doing in life.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I have to at some point stop and go, why am I yesing everybody else, but knowing to the people that I claim to love the most? No, well, I spend time with you. So, for example, and I love my time doing this for, like, I'll always love it. I managed Hayley's football team.
Yeah.
But that took me Thursday nights, Monday nights, Thursday nights, constant phone calls from players, coaches, committee members. Like Brett said, you're always on the phone. You're always doing something for footy. Where's the time? You know?
Yes.
Now, it was before Mum's passing that I stopped doing that because he was right. Like, and I was missing out on my son's football games because they played at the same time. And, you know, so I'm like, no, I'm giving that away so that I can choose what I do. I can go to hers. I can go to his. We can up and bugger off somewhere over weekend if we want. I think we've done that twice. But that's no fault.
Yes.
That's just because where do you want to go? Oh, I don't know. Like, let's just stay home.
Yes, yes.
But this last 12 months has really been the turning point of no. If you want to do something, you have to do it. Don't wait until it's too late.
Yes.
Start doing things for us, not just me, but for us. So we go to concerts.
Yes.
We went to Sydney. Like, we hadn't been on a trip. Brett and I had not been on a trip together since our honeymoon, just the two of us. There were a couple of, you know, like anniversary nights and that sort of thing, you know, but we weren't too far afield.
Yes.
And we were lucky. We had both sets of parents at the time that could look after the kids, what have you. So we were lucky. And really, we could have been doing all of that stuff all along, but other things got in the way.
Yeah.
Basketballs, football. This last year, it's us. It's what we need to do. It's what and now obviously, you know, with Hayley moving away, and we need to be able to make time to make those travels. You know, it shouldn't just be I said to H the other day, I put something up on Snapchat and she, oh, when did you get the new Robovac? And, oh, is that a new rug on the floor? And I actually texted back and said, well, if you came to visit a little bit more often, you'd know about these. And she's like, whack. Okay, actually, that was a bit harsh.
Oh, well.
Oh, yeah, honey, that was a bit harsh. I'm sorry. Mummy's sorry.
She's winking.
Liar. So, and I guess, so that was, I think, the most significant turning point in my life, getting back to the question you actually asked me.
It's all good.
Was Mum's passing because it was so sudden and everything we had to go through. And I guess the next one before that, I think the next one in line was my father-in-law's passing. That was really significant time in the family's life as well. Yes. But talking about then happier ones, like I think they're significant because they're my most recent. But my happiest turning points were the birth of my children.
I was going to say that, but then I didn't want to preempt. And you might say
100.
When we got a new letterbox.
A new letterbox, because now, they can't pull it out and
so
run
the
away
birth
with
of
it.
Haley and Jack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously meeting Brett, my wedding, all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
They're all, but becoming a mum for the first time, that was amazing. And being able to share that with you as well.
Yes.
That was, oh God, that was a night, wasn't it? Gee, many crickets.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a stressful time for
Has
Freddie.
that warmed up from
Freddie
that
and
night?
I. Freddie and I were so upset. You're going through labour. He's crying. I'm crying.
No, I think I packed my bag and said I wasn't doing it at one point, didn't I? I'm out the door. Come on,
You're
back
not
you go.
going anywhere. Yes, it was very cold.
That was
one day in May in 2000.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then obviously becoming mum for the second time, but the complications that came with Jack's birth, and we do.
He's not that bad.
No,
Jeez,
no, he's not. He's all right. He's doing well. He's doing well. He there were complications from the birth. It ended up being, what turned out to us laughing and joking. Brett sitting in the corner of the room reading a newspaper while I was in the middle of a contraction, with the midwife coming in, looking at me and him as if to say, "Why isn't he helping?" It's like, "Don't worry, I've done this before.
Yeah.
It's all fine.
It's not my first rodeo."
Not my first rodeo. All it. I don't want to go into too much, but all systems go. Yeah. Obviously being scared about Jack's life, Jack's health, and I do joke every birthday. This is the anniversary of the day you nearly killed me.
Love you.
And I laugh about, I joke about that, but in actual fact, we nearly lost we could have lost the both of us, and that is a significant time and realisation to, when all is said and done and you're home with this baby, you go,
that was a close one.
And the 3-year-old's drawing on the walls while you're trying to pump and he's trying to feed, and oh my God, that becomes a significant time in your life. But but definitely those two are my proudest achievements.
Yes. Yeah.
They are the loves of my life, as well as Brett, obviously.
And how old are they now, Kimmy?
So Haley is 24.
Oh, jeez. I'm 24.
I'm 24.
We are 24.
We're 24. And Jack just turned 21. And the funniest thing is we actually didn't plan their births very well, in as much as Haley was born on the 28th of May. It's fine. But had Jack been left to his own devices just to piss his sister off, the little bugger, he would have come on. I'm 100% sure, if I hadn't said to the doctor, I have to be induced before the 28th of May, the little bugger would have come on her birthday.
Yes.
As it was, we were induced with him 2 days before. So they're 2 days apart, 3 years apart.
Yes.
So we've got an 18th and a 21st at the same time.
Time has gone so quickly, I guess, all across, from their births to now. And they're Haley taller than me. Jack's definitely taller than me.
They're both taller than you, darling. Have been
an
since
agreement
they were about
was
9.
had. They both broke it, but it's all right. I'm still waiting for my growth spurt.
Yes.
And yes, well, there's still time. I'm going to move into our next segment, which is called Curious Corner, asking curious questions about our guests. And can you recall a time where you just couldn't stop laughing, got the giggles and just couldn't stop?
Yeah.
Is it airable?
Yes, it is actually.
That's good to hear.
I can think of several, and they all involve alcohol, with my friend Danny and Craig.
Oh, my goodness. She's trouble in a box then. My gosh, there it is.
Absolutely. A wine cask
Shout
box.
out to Danny.
Hi, shout out to Danny.
Involving alcohol.
In actual fact, we met. Her daughter, like Danny's daughter, is 2 days older than Hayley. So she's born on Jack's birthday. So
yes.
Sorry, Jack was born on her birthday.
Yes.
Let me correct. So we actually, and we saw each other the day I went into labour with Hayley. We're walking down the car park of the hospital and there's Danny waving at us from our hospital. Anyway, I digress. Yep, shout out to Dan. Hi, Dan. But
sponsored by gin.
Don't say gin.
No. Who said
How did
gin?
you know gin?
Oh.
Have you been texting Brett while I was on the way?
No, I haven't. No, it's just what everyone has. I don't have it.
Oh, man. It always involves alcohol. But we play this card game. It's called Phase 10.
Strip. No. Poker.
No. It's airable, remember?
It's airable, yes.
Called Phase 10. And just at some point, after copious amounts of alcohol and this game, somebody had cracked the shits. I would get the giggles.
Who would crack the shits?
Oh, usually Danny, actually, or Brett, because they weren't winning.
She's so mild-mannered.
Yeah, she is. You've got to get her on.
Hold the fort. Yeah. Maybe she's not. She's put on a good front.
No, she's beautiful.
So cracking it because they're not winning.
Yeah, and I think there was a bit of that from me as well. But the times I've laughed so hard were those card game nights, and just you know how you just
yes,
and you just can't stop. If I start that, this podcast is over. But it's just hilarious. And just thinking about it too, the only other time I can think of, and Hayley's going to kill me for saying this.
She's not here. She doesn't know.
No, she won't. She won't listen.
She won't know till next.
She doesn't listen
next
to
week.
podcasts. They're so.
It's for the.
She's too young for a podcast. I remember I had to go in and see her grade 6 teacher. Have I told you this story?
I don't know.
No, you're about to. Oh my God. And I had to go and see the teacher for something. I think I was doing some cooking thing in the class, and I couldn't work out why the teacher wouldn't look me in the eye. And usually her and I had quite a good relationship, and I'd had a sore back.
Oh, hello. There's always
you make that statement, but it gets worse, right? I just couldn't work it out. Anyway, it turns out that Hayley had told her grade 6 teacher that I might not be able to make it to the cooking segment thing, MasterChef, I think it was.
Okay.
They were doing something like that, because I had 2 bulging dicks in my back.
If I had $1 for every
time. What I actually had was 2 bulging discs.
That's quite a situation, rocking up to emergency saying, check out these bulging, yes.
But now every time, and she actually said to me, what were her actual words? Like when I went up to visit her for her birthday, it's like that has burned into her brain. Those weren't the words she used. It's like
etched.
No, it was like that memory for her is like breathing or something like that. It was something weird. It was really quite profound what she said, but she thinks about it almost every day or something.
Goodness.
Like, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, H, I'm sure you will.
So they were bulging discs, just to clarify, not
S-C,
bulging
S, not anything else.
No.
So, Mummy's moon. But, of course, the teacher probably thinks Mummy's moonlighting is she would not look me in the damn face.
Oh, my gosh.
And it wasn't until we got home. Oh, my God. It was, and she told me that, and I lost it. Like, I just could not hold it together.
Imagine that staff room conversation for those teachers.
And I think that's why
Mrs. Trokescott.
It was hilarious.
Oh, my
but
gosh.
yeah, she's going to kill me for telling that story.
It's okay. Well,
it's better than telling her MCG story, but maybe you should get on to
the MCG.
Get her on to talk about that.
Maybe I should. Oh, my gosh. If you could have any superpower for a day, what would it be? Bulging
notes. The ability to take my bulging dicks away. I think it would actually be teleportation.
Oh.
Because then I could just click my fingers,
Yes.
and I'd be in where Hayley lives.
Yeah. I was thinking time machine, DeLorean.
No, I think that's done. Like I
Yes.
can't change that. And if I was to say that and it was actually able to happen and I went back there and I was able to meet and what have you, the course of the universe changes, and then who knows, we might not be sitting here now.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean?
The timeline.
The timeline, yeah. So no, I just want to be able to click my fingers and be where my kids are,
Yes.
where my grandkids are going to be.
Yes.
Because that's one thing for me that I go, she's going to have babies and she's so far away and I'm going to have to travel to see them. I'm not going to be the grandma that lives around the corner, you know?
Yes.
And that's fine.
Yeah, that's right.
I guess it adds to the
Teleportation.
fun. Teleportation.
Well, the next one is name 5 people you would invite for dinner, and they're not anyone that you have contact with. So anyone that you would like to have at your dinner table.
Bear with me.
Oh.
As of right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're up there gas bagging as it is, you know.
Oh.
They've been up there for 12 months.
The things that she would be saying right now.
Slander.
Kimberly.
Absolute slander.
Kimberly. Yeah. You could sue her.
It would definitely be Jen.
Yes.
And Mum.
Yes.
I'd want them back. I'd want them at the same table. I don't know who else.
Someone that you'll never ever get a chance to meet.
Do you know, actually, I'd have Pink at my table.
Yes.
Yeah. She's the coolest.
Isn't she? The best
lady in the world. She is. And she's such a great mum. She's bloody awesome.
She's unaffected.
She is unaffected. Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, actually, the next one, if you could choose one song to play every time you walked into a room, what would be your entrance song every time when you walk in?
You and your hand tonight. No.
Pull the carcass.
Who?
Boom, boom, boom.
No. No. Oh, God.
Oh, what would it be?
Showing your age, Joe.
Oh, 25. What would be your entrance song?
My entrance song? I know Brett's entrance song.
Oh.
I don't know that I have one.
It's not Colette. Ring My Bell.
Ring My Bell.
I know he was a massive fan of Colette.
No, you what? No, that's not it. I don't know, Jodie.
Oh my gosh,
I might have to.
We can come back to that one.
Text that one in.
Your worst, as you know, I've injured myself several times over the years. What's your worst injury?
The 2 bulging dicks in my head.
I think that was on purpose.
A boom tish.
That's right.
Worst injury I've had would definitely be my back. Would be my worst of. When that goes out, that's pure hell. My worst, it's not really an injury, but my worst medical episode was a burst appendix. That was, I fell off my horse a few times, a couple of concussions. Broken probably all my toes.
Oh, my goodness.
Jeez,
there's quite a few there.
Oh, horses are heavy.
That is very true.
Yeah.
I have probably a couple more.
Do we have enough time?
Favorite fictional character. If you could swap lives with a fictional character, who would it be?
Hermione Granger.
Oh, yes.
She's a badass little
isn't
bitch.
She
that
the
one,
boss?
Isn't she? My God.
Those boys can't. She's in charge. Hermione.
I mean, they would have been dead they would have been killed by Voldemort,
right.
You know.
She was there to look after them.
Absolutely. No, definitely. But just, that little map that they had to declare I'm up to no good or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Hermione
Granger. She's a badass.
I guess another one is if you could do things differently, what career would you choose? You wanted to be a vet nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would. I think I wouldn't have done anything differently there, because I think that was kind of the progression of getting me to where I was. And then I think I got to as far as I could go with that career for me.
Mm.
And so it was time to move on to something else.
Mm.
So here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favourite question, the hall pass question. So if you could have a night, not Brett, anyone that is just out of this world, who would it be?
That'd be Trokey.
You chose Brett.
I did.
Oh, my God.
Do you know what? I don't have enough time.
She's winking. No, she's not.
I don't have enough time for one man, let alone having to make time for another. No.
That's true.
In all honesty,
Joe Biden?
no. Shamar Moore.
Who's that?
He was Malcolm on Young and the Restless, actually, but he was
I know
also
who you're talking-
in
yes.
SWAT.
Yes.
He's in SWAT.
Yes.
Yeah, very,
I
very
didn't
nice.
know his name.
Or Gordon Ramsay.
Oh,
I
hello.
like me some Gordon.
Naked Chef.
No, that's Jamie Oliver.
Oh, no.
No,
Yeah, Jamie Oliver, yes.
I like Jamie Oliver, but no.
Did you see what happened to
Yes, I
his
did.
accident? Oh, my gosh.
My God. But I have to be careful with Gordon
You
because
would.
apparently the babies just pop out.
He's got quite a few, hasn't he?
He's got several. He's just had
Yes.
another one.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
think it's about 12 now, but no, it's not. 12 months. I don't know.
Well, if he ever comes to town,
I'll ask him.
see how we can go.
Just a moment, Gordon. Can I just ask?
Sorry to bother you.
Sorry to bother, but
So I guess you've talked about your proudest moment in your life. You've mentioned so many. Do you have any regrets?
I don't think of them as regrets.
Mm-hmm.
I have moments that I would like to reshape or do over.
Mm-hmm.
If I could erase certain parts and have them not affect the outcome, that time with the toad would be one that I would erase, because not only did that affect my relationship with my mother, but I remember it did ours as well a little bit. We lost contact for a bit because of that, and that was sad. We're back together.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things around that time too that you kind of have to go and come back full circle.
And that's why I go, you know what, if I could, I would, but I can't change it. I guess if I had to call one thing a regret, it would be that I stepped back from my mother and the relationship that we I loved my mum, please don't get me wrong, but certain events made me step back from her a little bit. And I think from there, you asked me before which of my parents I was closer to.
Yeah.
I was definitely in the last few years, I've definitely been more on my dad's side than my mum's. Again, for reasons, things that had happened. But I regret not putting that aside and just being more present with her, because 3 days after she passed, I was supposed to be taking her out for lunch. I was supposed to be picking her up from her day program as a surprise and taking her out for afternoon tea. And I do regret that I didn't do that sooner, I guess. But yeah, no, I think the main regret is just not putting that shit aside and just going, you know what, she's not well. I didn't know how unwell she was.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody did. I don't think she knew either. But
yeah,
if I could just step back and change that dynamic a little bit in some way, that I think that's my one true regret is the relationship wasn't really where I wanted it to be at that time of her passing.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things, Kimmy, too, that at that point, and realising it after the fact, because then it has to sit with you.
Yeah.
And then you then make peace with that over time.
Yeah.
It's 12 months on. And, you know, I guess today being 12 months to the day also makes it a little bit tricky too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have loved chatting with you.
Me too.
And I was hoping that there was going to be lots of laughs, and there was.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Kimmy, thank you for joining me today, and
thank you for having me.
Keep an eye on and we'll warn any people that need to be warned if there's been any untoward things said about them. I can't think now. Anyway, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And see you next time.
See ya.
I think you will all agree that Kimmy's stories have been so engaging today, and we hope you laugh as much as we did recording the interview. Thank you to our listeners for listening and supporting this podcast. Tune in to our next episode where we get to hear more lives worth telling. Don't forget to check out and follow us on your socials. And if you love what you hear, please rate and review us on your favourite podcast app. Of course, if you have any questions, you can get in touch with us through the Facebook page or Instagram. If you or a friend or a family member would like to come on the show, please don't hesitate to get in contact with us. And if you want to grab yourself some merch, jump onto Redbubble to check out our products. Thanks for listening to Lives Worth Telling. See you next time.